Good morning, friends. Today we are going to discuss about the concept of autoimmunity. It is a very important topic in relation to the autoimmune diseases. Around 1 to 2% of the population is basically having such type of diseases, and the pathogenesis behind these all diseases is autoimmunity. So we will try to understand the concept of this autoimmunity. Myself, Dr. S. K. Sutrkar, Department of Pathology. So, in order to say a condition to be autoimmune, there are certain criteria which one should fulfill in order to say it is a autoimmune disorder. So, first criteria is the presence of an immune reaction, and this reaction is basically to the self antigens or self tissue. So, there is an antigen antibody reaction between the self antigen or self tissue to the antibodies. So, this is the first criteria. Second criteria is the immune reaction should be a primary type of reaction. It should not be a secondary reaction. So sometimes what happens during the diseases, many type of immunological reactions occur, and these all are secondary to the different type of pathologies. But in case of autoimmune, this reaction which is occurring between the antigen or antibody, it should be of primary type. So this is the second criteria, and the third is there should be always a absence of another well defined cause of the disease. So there should not be any type of other disease uh, in order to consider such type of disorder as autoimmune. So these are the three criteria, and if someone fulfills these criteria, we can say such person is having autoimmune disorder. So these autoimmune disorders, basically they are having the hallmark auto antibodies formation. So most of the autoimmune disorder, they will have auto antibodies, the antibodies which are formed against our self tissue or self antigens. And these disorders uh, basically may be classified depending on the type of immune reaction. So some disorders we can say are due to the antibodies and immune complex mediated, or other are due to the cell mediated injury or T cells. So these can be broadly divided into organ specific autoimmune disorder and generalized autoimmune disorder. And in all these autoimmune disorders, there is a loss of self tolerance. So we will try to understand the concept of self tolerance, what it is, and how our immune system basically unresponsive to our self antigens, because this self tolerance is basically break in case of autoimmunity. So, and the concept of immunological tolerance is very important in relation to the autoimmune disorders. So before discussing the concept of immunological tolerance, we will try to analyze the different type of disorders which are organic specific or generalized type, and which are basically caused by the antibodies or immune complexes and T cell mediated injury. So here is the chart. These conditions which are caused due to these autoimmune reactions, and they all together they are called as immune mediated inflammatory diseases. So this is a broad group, and here you can see the chart. The first is the disease mediated by the antibodies and immune complexes. So these diseases are basically caused by the self antibody formation or immune complexes formation between the antigen antibody reaction. So they can further divide into organ specific autoimmune diseases and systemic autoimmune diseases. So in the organ specific autoimmune diseases, we will have the autoimmune hemolytic anemia. The second one is autoimmune thrombocytopenia, uh, and the third one is the myasthenia gravis and Graves disease and Gush-Pascher syndrome. As we all know, there is a formation of auto antibodies in these conditions, and they all together basically uh, formed a group that is called organ specific autoimmune diseases. The second one is the systemic autoimmune diseases, and the best example for the systemic autoimmune disease is the systemic lupus erythematosus, in which multiple organs they are involved, and these antibodies they are directed against the nuclear material or nuclear antigens. So we will have the separate lecture on this systemic lupus erythematosus, and we will discuss there in detailedly. The third one is the disease caused by the autoimmunity or by the reaction to the microbial antigen. So there are certain conditions in which the microbial antigens may provoke the expression or upregulate the expression of certain molecules, or may mimic the this microbial antigen may mimic the self tissue antigen, and they can cause the autoimmune reaction there. The best example of this is polyarthritis nodosa. So this is the example of this condition. The second group is the disease mediated by the T cell. As we have said, these are the two broad group. One group is the antibody and immune complex mediated. The second group is the disease mediated by the T cells. So certain organ specific autoimmune diseases in which there is a T cell mediated injury is seen. So here you can see the type 1 diabetes, where there is a T cell mediated injury to the islet cells, and in case of multiple sclerosis, so this is the second condition in which there is a T cell mediated injury. Apart from this, there are systemic autoimmune diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis, systemic sclerosis, Sjogren's syndrome. These all can be due to the T cell mediated injury. Apart from this, disease caused by the autoimmunity or by the reaction to the microbial antigens. So here we can see the inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and inflammatory myopathies. So this is the how we can classify the autoimmune disorders, and these all together they are called as immune mediated inflammatory diseases. Now we will try to understand the concept of self-tolerance or immunological tolerance. In this, basically, there is a in this autoimmunity, basically there is a breakdown of this self-tolerance, and so we should basically know the concept of this self-tolerance. So during the maturation of these cells within the bone marrow and the thymus, these cells which are basically the self reactive to our self antigens, these such type of self reacted lymphocytes, they are basically removed from our lymphoid pools by various mechanism, and we can divide these mechanism of self tolerance into two categories. The first category is the central tolerance, and second category is the peripheral tolerance. In both the cases, there is a removal of the self reactive lymphocytes. So such type of lymphocytes during the maturation in the thymus and the bone marrow, they are removed by the various mechanism. So we will discuss one by one these mechanisms. So here in the diagram, here you can see the thymus, and there is a maturation of T cells in the thymus, and one concept is that is called as negative selection. So certain type of T cells which can recognize our self antigen, they are basically removed from the these lymphoid pools by the process of negative selection. So such type of cells, they are deleted, and this process is called deletion. So deletion or negative selection is basically one or the same condition. And another is there is a formation of regulatory T cells. So certain type of T cells which can recognize our self antigen, they are prone to, or they are forced to convert themselves into regulatory T cells. So this also happens in the thymus. So these are the two mechanisms by which the self reactive lymphocytes, they are made inactive, or they are deleted from the lymphoid pools. For this deletion, basically there is an important type of protein or gene which regulate this, and this is AIRE gene or AIRE protein. Basically this autoimmune regulatory protein is critical for the deletion of the immature self-reactive T cells. So this is very important, and whenever this gene is mutated, AIRE gene, whenever this gene basically get mutated, there is a condition which develops that is called as autoimmune polyendocrinopathy. So this shows that this gene is basically regulating the some of the function of the immune system. On the other hand, we can say the B cells, which basically develops in the bone marrow. Here also the same process of negative selection. The self-reactive B cells, they undergo the process of negative selection or deletion. And there is another concept of that is called receptor editing. So some of the B cells, they basically uh, undergo their genetic material undergo the somatic recombination, and they will develop such TCR or such BCR which are not reactive to the these self antigens, and this editing of the receptors is basically called as receptor editing, and this happens in around 60 to 70% of lymphoid cells which matures in the bone marrow. So these self-reactive lymphocytes, they are made basically unresponsive to our self antigen, and this receptor editing is another important concept in relation to the central tolerance in bone marrow. So before discussing the peripheral tolerance, we should know this diagram. This is a very important diagram. As we know that for the activation of any type of lymphocytes, there are two signals are required. The signal one is basically brought by the interaction between the CD4 molecules or CD8 molecules with the MSC class 1 or class 2 molecules. So this signal is called signal 1, and simultaneously there is a requirement of the co-stimulatory molecule as well, and this co-stimulatory molecules basically whenever they interact, they will produce the signal 2. So here in the diagram we can easily see that these are the CD4 cells, and these CD4 cells, T cells, they are having TCR or T cell receptors where the peptide antigen can bind, and this peptide antigen is basically presented by the antigen presenting cells which are having MSC class 2 molecules, and these MSC class 2 molecules basically uh, bind with this peptide antigen, and it will basically brought this antigen to the CD4 cells, and MSC class 2 molecules are basically recognized by the CD4 receptors, and these once these receptors are recognized in the MSC class 2 molecule, uh, and there is a binding of the peptide antigen to the TCR or T cell receptors, and these receptors when they will bind and they undergo the uh, heterodimerization, and they will produce the signal 1. So this is how the signal 1 is generated, and this signal 1 is generated between the interaction between the MSC class and class 2 molecules and CD4 receptors or molecules along with the T cell receptors. So this is the signal 1. Second signal or second is generated by the interaction between the CD80 or CD86 molecules. They are also called as B1 and B7, which are the co-stimulatory molecules which is required uh, for the production of the second signal, and there are certain molecules such as CD28 which is present over the CD4 cells. They will interact with these molecules B1 or B7, or they are also called CD80 or CD86. When they will bind, they will produce the signal 2. So in order to activate the T cells, these two signals are very important to be generated, and until unless these two signals they are not generated, the cell or T cell will not activate themselves. So now coming to the concept of peripheral tolerance, as we have discussed, uh, so there are three important mechanisms by which the peripheral tolerance work, and there are certain T lymphocytes which escapes from the central tolerance, and they will reach to the peripheral pool such as lymphoid organs, and where they are deleted or they are removed from the lymphoid pool by the process of peripheral tolerance. So So this is the concept of peripheral tolerance. Here there are three important mechanisms. The first mechanism is called energy. So energy is the phenomena in which these self-reactive lymphocytes, they are made basically inactive or non-functional to self antigens. And here you can see this is energy, and this energy is basically brought by the two mechanisms. The first one is there is a lack of second signals. As we have discussed in the previous slide, there is an interaction between the CD28 molecules and B7 molecules, which are present over the macrophages or antigen presenting cells, and CD28 which is present over the CD4 cells. So there is a second signal basically generated when there are these molecules interact, and whenever B7 is lacking on the APC, and this result in the lack of second signal. And once the second signal is not generated, such type of cells, uh, whether they are basically produce the signal one, but they are lacking the second signal, they cannot be activated and they are made non-functional, and such condition is called energy. Second concept is that the T cells that recognize the self antigens receive a inhibitory signal from the receptor, which is very homologous to the CD28 molecules, but they are having the opposite function. So the second inhibitory mechanism is the presence of receptors which are very similar to the CD28 molecules, but they are having the opposite function, or they are having the inhibitory function, such as CTLA4 and PD1. So these are the two receptors, CTLA4 and PD1. So when they are activated, they will produce the inhibitory effect, and such type of basically T cells, they undergo the process of energy. So energy means they are a prolonged or irreversible functional inactivation of the lymphocytes. So this is the first mechanism. Here you can see is the energy, and you can see in the diagram there is a lack of B7 molecules over the APC. So this result in the energy. The second concept is the concept of activation induced cell death, apoptosis. So here you can see there is a generation of signal 1 and signal 2, but even though the cells or cell reactive lymphocytes, they are deleted or removed, and by the process of apoptosis. So in this we can see there are two mechanisms. The deletion is by the activation induced cell death is basically occur by the two mechanism. If the T cells recognize the self antigen, they may express the pro-apoptotic molecules such as BIM, and whenever these pro-apoptotic molecules, they are expressed without the expression of anti-apoptotic molecule like BCL2, this triggers the apoptosis and via the mitochondrial pathway. So this is the one mechanism by which the apoptosis is basically brought out. And the second mechanism is there is an interaction between the FAS and FAS ligand, FAS ligand system activation. So here you can see the FAS ligand is a member protein, structurally basically very similar to the cytokines TNF, and is expressed on the activated lymphocyte, which basically interact with the FAS CD95 molecules, and whenever there is an interaction between uh, the FAS ligand and the FAS molecule, you can see there is a activation of the adaptor molecule, and these adaptor molecule, they will activate the pro-caspases, and by the autolytic caspase activation, these convert into active caspases, and they can activate the exudational exudational caspases, and which can brought the phenomena of apoptosis. So this is how the second mechanism by which the self-reactive cells, they are basically removed. And in the third mechanism, there basically it occurs. The third mechanism is basically occurs by the suppression by the regulatory T cells. So these regulatory T cells, they will express a special molecule, that is CD25, and this is the alpha chain of interleukin 2 receptor and transcriptional factor POXP3, and these two molecules basically they are required for the development and maintenance of the functional CD4 regulatory T cells. So these CD5 molecules basically they will produce certain type of immunosuppressive cytokines. So certain type of lymphocytes which are expressing this CD25, they will produce the immunosuppressive cytokines, especially the interleukin 10 and tumor TNF, TGF, or growth, that is transforming growth factor beta, which inhibit the lymphocytes activation and the effector function. So this is how the suppression of the self-reactive T cell is brought by the regulatory T cell. So this is the diagrammatic representation of this same condition. You can see the T regulatory cells, they are suppressing the self-reactive T cells, and as we know that we have discussed that they are derived from the thymus and they express CD25 and the interleukin 2 and POXP3, which basically help in the maintenance and maturation. And these type of cells, they will release or secrete the interleukin 10 and transforming growth factor beta, which have the inhibitory effect over this lymphocyte activation. So this is how the mechanism of peripheral tolerance develops, and the self-reactive cells which are basically formed within the body, they can be removed by the central tolerance or by the peripheral tolerance. So this is the concept of immunological tolerance. And in the autoimmunity, so this concept, basically this auto immunity develops because of the breakdown of this self tolerance. So if we discuss the mechanism of autoimmunity, there is a balance between the lymphocyte activation and the tolerance. So whenever there is breakdown in the self tolerance, there is a overactivation of the lymphocytes, which can brought the which can lead to the autoimmunity. So in order to discuss the mechanism of autoimmunity, we can see there is inheritance of the susceptibility genes, and these susceptibility genes, certain peoples they are having more susceptible genes which lead to the breakdown of the self tolerance. So this is one important concept. There is a inheritance of susceptibility gene is very important. Second is the role of environmental triggers or environmental factors such as infection, radiation, and viruses, which can basically trigger the drugs, which can triggers the or promote the activation of the self-reactive lymphocyte. So these are the two important mechanism in order to develop the this autoimmunity. The first one is the inheritance of the susceptibility genes, and the second one is the environmental triggers. So this is the diagrammatic representation. Here you can see the susceptibility genes can be divided into two. The HLA genes, so those persons who are expressing the HLA V27, they are more prone to develop the ankylosing spondylitis, and those persons who are having HLA DR V1 V2, they are more prone to develop the rheumatoid arthritis. So this is how these genes, when they are expressed, they will produce the pathological condition or autoimmune disorders. So such persons, they are more susceptible to develop the autoimmune, and this is how it is basically indicating that there is some mechanism by which these susceptibility genes, they will result in the failure of the self tolerance. Another group is the non-HLA genes such as PTPN22 and NOD2 and interleukin 2 and 7 receptors. So these non-HLA genes also, they are involved in the development of or breakdown of the self tolerance and development of self-reactive lymphocytes. So this is one important mechanism, that is susceptibility genes. So second one is the environmental factors, and there is a role of the infections. Here we can see the some of the infections, they can upregulate the expression of the co-stimulatory molecules. So as we have discussed in the previous slides that the V7 and the B1, they are the co-stimulatory molecules which are basically present over the antigen presenting cell, and they will required for the development of the second signal for the activation of the lymphocytes. So here you can see certain type of infections. These microbial infection, they can upregulate the expression of these molecules B7 over the antigen presenting cell, and that promote the binding between the CD28 molecules and the B7, and because of this binding there is a generation of the second signal, and the patient or the person may develop the autoimmunity. Or so this is the concept in which there is a environmental triggers can develop the autoimmunity. Second is the mechanism is the basically that is called as molecular mimicry. So certain microbes, they express the antigens that are very similar to the amino acid sequence as the self antigens. So this is very important, and best example of this is the rheumatoid heart diseases, in which there is a cross reactivity of these antibodies with the self antigens. So this is also another concept in which there is a molecular mimicry can result in the injury to the cell tissue. So these microbial antigens, they are very similar to our self antigens. Because of this, these antibodies, they will react to the self antigens, and they result in the autoimmunity. So this is another concept. The third one is there is a concept of epitope spreading. So in this, basically the infections and the initial autoimmune responses may structurally, basically they alter the self antigens, and they will produce the new binding sites or expose the new epitopes, or antigen binding sites they are exposed, and these exposed anti-binding site, they will basically result in the development of autoimmunity. So this is called as epitope spreading. So basically there is a exposure of new binding site over the hidden antigens, and this is called the epitope spreading. So this is the concept of or mechanism of development of autoimmunity. And the fourth important is the polyclonal B cell activation. Certain of the some type of virus, they can activate the B cells, and they will produce the autoantibodies. Because of that also there is a development of autoimmunity. So this is the whole diagram. You can see the mechanism, basically due to the two important factors. One is the genetic susceptibility, which produces in which there is a failure of self tolerance, which result in the self reactive lymphocyte. Simultaneously, whenever there is another environmental stimuli due to the infection or tissue injury or inflammation, they can also result in the development of the autoimmunity. So this is the concept of autoimmunity. I hope this video will be helpful for you. Thank you very much for watching this.